Well, Aaron Judge has been the best regular season hitter over the last 6 seasons, but his postseason is not quite the same time, hitting just 177, a 31% strikeout rate. And see the OPS is way down. And I think when you're looking at Aaron Judge, you're like, well, wait a second. He hit 60 home runs in the regular season. He needs to hit 10 in this 5-game series. But will we see the power? He had 4 hits in the first round. Will we see some homers in this round?
Yeah, I mean, he was basically fairly pedestrian. And look, he is the best, most complete hitter in our game. And what makes him that is a combination of power, eagle eye at the plate, doesn't chase, and he can hit for high average. He hasn't done that, Kevin, in the postseason. He hasn't done the last 27 at-bats. He hasn't walked in the last 27 at-bats. So look for him to get a good pitch to hit, and if they don't pitch to him, pass the baton and let the game come to you.
I tell you what, I think he was surprisingly, he was surprised by the Red Sox going at him. I would say that. But at the same time, he was locked in. He wasn't trying to do too much, which is something that gave him in trouble in playoffs before. So his approach, from what I see into this point, it seems like he's trying to be patient, not trying to do too much. He's trying just to stick with whatever they give him. So that's how the power comes.
Well, I think that's key. Like you said, he's not trying to do too much. He's taking what they give him. He had a few hits against Boston, which is helpful. Will the power come? I don't know, because I don't know if they're going to challenge him. Like, Toronto walked him 15 times this year, 7 times intentionally. Yeah. So they're not just going to say, here you go, hit a home run. But another thing is key. We've all played in Toronto. That scoreboard's right there in center field. And Toronto always loves to put up those negative stats. Every time they put up the negative stats, right? So it's going to be interesting, because when you go in playoff series, every hitter, when they get in the box, they see their average, right? And you hope that they put playoff average up there for Aaron Judge, and he can forget about it and just continue what he's been doing in Boston, against Boston.
You know, it's going to help for him, Aaron Judge, to have familiarity. He's familiar against Kevin Gausman. In 61 at-bats, he's hitting .340 with 6 bombs. Now, he struck out 19 times. So I love what you said. We're going to find out early and often how they're going to attack. What's going to be the game plan? Now, all of a sudden, you kind of woken the bear up if you're the Red Sox, so maybe they're going to pitch around him. You have to pass the baton, like A-Rod said. But I think Kevin Gausman is going to be aggressive, because he's going to be that ace. And anytime you face some of the guys like your stature, you want to establish that I'm not afraid of you, and I'm going to come across this plate and really send a message back in my dugout that, I'm going to get
What will you do if you're facing him?
Man, y'all face me. You know I love the smoke. Y'all know I don't run from the smoke.
Train, one thing to be careful for is, and you can read body language a little bit, I think he was surprised that Alex Cora and the Red Sox went right after him. He was a little bit early on breaking balls. He was a little late on fastball. He took a fastball, strike 3, right down Broadway, which is not what he does. But it would be malpractice if these guys let Aaron Judge beat him, because you have the 3 lefties in Jazz Chisholm, Rice, and Bellinger, 2 for 44 with 2 anemic singles by Bellinger.
That's why the key's Bellinger.
There you go.
He's the key. Yeah. If he hits, you can't walk him.
And he's been great all season long. How about the pitching tonight? Pretty good matchup, right? Yankees will send Luis Gil to the mound. It's only his 3rd career postseason start, but after he came back from injury, he's been very good. And then the Blue Jays counter with their ace, Kevin Gausman. He was terrific after the All-Star break, a 2.81 ERA. That was 4th best in the American League. He has been in this position before. You talked about how familiar he is with the Yankees. What are we going to see repertoire-wise from him?
Well, he's 2-0. His last 3 starts against the Yankees with a 1.8 ERA. The sequencing with the mix of the fastball and the split finger is important. That's how he neutralizes those big lefties using that split finger. You have to be able to see him down. That's some depth change. You got to check that baseball, man. But the velo keeps you guessing. And so now the fastball plays up. So you guys know, you don't want to be in between against Kevin Gausman. Once he senses that, he starts to have mound presence. They feed off of him. So we're going to see in the first couple batters, if he has that split and that fastball combination, it might be tough sledding for your Yankees. We'll see.
I think there's a lot of people that haven't seen the Blue Jays play at all this year, right? Sure, everybody in Canada has, but when you look at them as a team, Derek, what makes them so dangerous? I mean, they're the #1 seed. What makes them so dangerous in your eyes?
They don't strike out. They don't strike out. They put the ball in play. They put pressure on the defense. We talked about earlier the Yankees making a lot of mistakes. They sort of turned the corner in the last month of the season. Well, you cannot afford to give the Toronto Blue Jays extra outs, because if you give them extra outs, it's going to lead to a big inning. So big innings are what kills teams in the postseason. So Yankees have to play tight defense.
And KB, make no mistake, what you're seeing right there, and we've all played there, that's the most intimidating, most effective offensive advantage that you have in going to Canada. You're going up against 40 million Canadians against the New York Yankees. They're a different team, and they were 6-1 to prove that against the Yankees in that building.
I pay attention to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this whole season. We also had conversation because he always trying to figure things out. Brilliant player. And the fact that he was trying to put the ball more in play than just going deep, he kind of combined the whole lineup to attack pitching. That's why you don't see that many guys with 30 homers in the lineup, especially at Rogers Center, where it's a field that you probably expect people to go deep more likely, but they attack you, attack you, attack you. They get you desperate if you are a pitcher facing them because they know how to put the ball in play.
We're talking about Aaron Judge. Vladdy Jr. ain't no bad man in the slouch on himself. You know what I mean? Especially against the Yankees. In 100 games, he has 22 home runs. He's hitting over 300. Also, George Springer. A healthy George Springer has been a catapult in their lineup at the top of the lineup. He gets them going not only offensively, but he's an emotional pickup as well. So those are the two factors, especially with Bo Bichette down. They got to play well against the New York Yankees.
Yeah, you mentioned it. You mentioned it because Vladdy's a huge part of the offense, but he's struggled without Bichette behind him. So that's a big void in their lineup is not having Bichette. And Vladdy struggled a little bit in the postseason. So he's another one that's got to turn it around if Toronto's going to move on.
And Derek, to your point, he hasn't homered in a month. So Vladdy needs to get off to a good start. When you talk about Vladdy and Judge, the first two at-bats of the series.
Why y'all hitting on Brady? I like what's going on.
The first two at-bats were set the tone.
What is going on here?
We love Vladdy.
Okay.
Just discussion.